Good evening, everybody. I'm just a simple man and the current No DQ Wrestling Predictions Champion, and my name is Noah Foster. And welcome once again to this week's episode of 205 Live Matters, where this week we will discuss this week's episode of 205 Live and give our thoughts on basically how it has been portrayed since the shakeup, which allegedly is still going on as far as we know. But before that, allow me to introduce you to my guest tonight. First time guest, but a fellow member of Team No QNX team. He can make you a fine piece of meat. He is known as the Cleaver, Mr. Colin Andrew. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Noah. How are you? Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, sir. I'm doing very well and happy to have you on the show for the first time ever.
Yeah, we've done videos in the past, but we haven't done one on 205 Live Matters.
Yep, and I can't wait to do one on your series as well. Go check out his series, folks. He calls it the Chopping Block. It's good stuff. Before we get into this week's episode, let me ask you this. Why does 205 Live matter to you?
Well, back in the early days, or I should say the late days of WCW, I watched just as much WWF at the time as I did WCW. I mean, WCW started at 8. Raw was starting at 9 at the time because Raw was going 9 to 11, and then Nitro was going 8 to 10. So, you definitely watched the first hour of Nitro. And I just remember watching the cruiserweights back in the day. It was one of my favorite divisions. I mean, as much as the crap reboot of ECW, it was what it was, I still gave it a shot because how much I loved ECW. So,
Right.
um, you know, watching the cruiserweights always brought me back to fun times because I always looked at my friends, and next thing you know, we're jumping off the couch onto each other, trying to flip off of each other, or this, that, and the other. Cruiserweight wrestling was always real fun to me as a kid, and I want to see my kids watch that and be like, oh man, do you see that flip? And then try to go do it on the trampoline or this, that, and the other, like I used to. So.
Well, I'm all behind the whole don't try the whole, but I mean, as long as it's not a trampoline, I mean, what harm can you really do? As
Right.
long as it's by yourself and not with another person, you accidentally jump on their head.
Or a
But
teacher. Don't do it to a teacher.
yeah, bad idea. I still can't believe someone RKO'd somebody, but going on.
Yep.
All right, well, wonderful stance and happy to know. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I grew up on WWF side, courtesy of my mom, so I'm still learning WCW. But WCW, thank you, W Network, is part of the reasons why I also initiated this series, seeing some of the great cruiserweight wrestling back then that really started back in WCW before it even became a thing in WWE, which really astonished me. So the greats that started, like Rey Mysterio, like Dean Malenko, like Chris Jericho, like Brian Pillman, and the list goes on and on and on. But we can get into more of that another time. Maybe we'll do like a special cruiserweight acknowledgement type episode down the line. But for now, let's go ahead and get right into this week's episode. So this week's episode was episode number
Hmm.
126. It emanated from the University of Nebraska. And usually we get our shtick of the general manager, the former Rockstar stud, Drake Maverick. But no, not this time. This time we got an open forum, I like to call it, or State of 205 Live address from my personal favorite, for a better 205 Live, Drew Gulak. So Drew Gulak has really talked about how everything has seemed to really shaken up, no pun intended, since the shakeup. He said up is down and down is up, and then he basically goes into detail about how his longtime rival Tony Nese is now cruiserweight champion. Then he also talks about how Cedric and Buddy Murphy have been moved to Raw and SmackDown Live respectively. I think Buddy Murphy got the better end of that. And then he also talks about tonight's show, but not in the order you would think. He actually starts with the main event, which doesn't involve him. He talks about how it's Oney Lorcan versus Arya Daivari, and how Oni is an NXT tag team specialist, but trying to make himself the face of 205 Live. But he then goes to his own stance where he says, soon I will become champ, and we will finally have a better 205 Live. And you think he would close here. No, he then goes into his match that opened the show, ironically, about teaching someone a lesson before he goes after the title. He talks about how he faces tonight Humberto Carrillo. And basically, tonight he's going to learn a lesson. When you step to me, you will tap out. So a very interesting opener, in my opinion, because it not only focused on this week's episode, but he somehow basically gave a promo on himself, not only for his match tonight, but basically his expectations for a better 205 Live and becoming Cruiserweight Champion. What were your thoughts on the opening sequence here, Colin?
I loved it. I love Gulak. I mean, the dude is a submission specialist, mat technician. Dude is great. His match that he had a couple weeks ago with Matt Riddle on NXT, priceless. The dude is awesome. The dude knows how to talk. He knows how to deliver in the ring. The dude is excellent. Um, I was a big fan of it. I like the podium. I like the fact that he is just in your face. Look, listen to me. I am the man. I'm really hoping to see a showdown between him and Nice down the road, and then him finally take the title because he does deserve it, honestly. I mean, um, I liked how he brought up Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander. And yes, I agree with you. Buddy Murphy got the way better end of the deal on that one. But good for him, you know. Buddy Murphy's bust his ass. He deserves that. But it was a great opening segment to a good show. You know, can't go wrong with Drew Gulak. And yes, you step to him, you will tap out.
Again, one of my favorites, one of the original pioneers that started when 205 Live literally started. Still, in my opinion, I believe he should become Cruiserweight Champion. Or at this point, just make him GM for one night. I think that would be extremely interesting. The guy can do it all. He can go in the ring, he can deliver an incredible promo, and he's also an entertaining character. Whether you think of him as a teacher, whether you think of him as a leader, or whether you think someone that believes he's right everything, the man has done it all. And truly is one of the most well-known faces, if you can call him that, personalities of 205 Live. If you don't know any other name for 205 Live by now, you should know at least Drew Gulak.
Yes, absolutely.
And I also say SmackDown Live gets a better deal because I'm biased. I say SmackDown Live is a better show than Raw. Sue me. Anyway, so we get right into the show. Opening sequence, Head of the Crown. Probably one of my favorite themes WWE's used recently by CFOS or whatever. And we get our opening commentary with Aiden English, who apparently has stayed on past WrestleMania season. Glad to see that. Lead commentator Vic Joseph, he does okay. And then instead of Nigel McGuinness, who apparently is training the talent at the Performance Center NXT UK, we got David Otunga. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but I thought for his first night, I hope this isn't a permanent thing. I thought for his first night he did okay. But basically, we get right from there. We go right into our opening match. Drew Gulak literally comes out right away, and then we get Humberto Carrillo. And Aiden English just loves the guy, thinks he's so handsome. Still think that's weird. And then before the match begins, we do get a bit of a Instagram promo from, I guess you'd call him his former protege, /friend, Jack Gallagher, who basically said that he has been detained to get stitches on his mustache. This is not a mustache. I don't know how that's possible. But anyway, he basically then goes into detail about what has Drew done for me lately, especially after costing me my match against Humberto Carrillo 2 weeks ago, because he did. But he's now like, I wonder if this time he's just been using me. I guess now we'll see if he respects me more as an adversary. So it sounds like we're going to get Jack Gallagher versus Drew Gulak down the line. I think pretty much that partnership, friendship, whatever you want to call it, abolished.
That'll probably be another number one contender match.
Yeah. And again, just the thing about the 205 Live, they build stories the night of. While they have such a small roster, they really are pushing the boundaries of what they can do with it as far as storytelling and matchmaking. And I appreciate that. But we'll get more into the roster later as far as what we think should happen and needs to build. So before I go into this match with my clip notes, what were your thoughts on Drew Gulak versus Humberto Carrillo?
Well, first off, every time I hear of Humberto Carrillo, all I can think of is Alberto Del Rio. So that's, if I refer to him as that, just go with it because it's easier. I don't know, seeing him, his Titantron changed. I don't know if you noticed that. It's just not the same old, just regular print. It spins now, so he's going up a little bit from jobber status. Titantron moves. You're not a total jobber anymore, I guess. I thought it was a good match. I really did. I mean, Gulak, didn't get the W, but the spot with the ankle lock, and then he got rolled up into the pin and came out with the ankle lock still on it was fantastic. I really liked when he hit the surfboard submission. He can hit a submission out of anywhere. Like seriously, it's crazy. Like you know how we have the RKO out of nowhere.
Yes.
Gulak is I'll submit you out of nowhere. Um,
Yeah.
um, Carrillo shined to me. I mean, I've seen him. I'm still getting used to him. You know, I know he was on NXT UK last week, was it?
Yes.
In a tag match, and so it's good to see him getting more exposure because, like you said, 205 Live's roster is so small. Um, can we add to it? We can, but we can talk about that in just a little bit here. You
Maybe
know,
civil stances, folks.
yes, yes. I mean, we hit the sunset bomb. He hit the sunset bomb for the win. I'm not a crazy fan of that move because it's so close to the ropes. You have to be so close to the ropes to hit that move.
Right.
And that's just asking for trouble. But overall, I thought it was a good match. Drew Gulak, even though he lost, I felt like he put over Carrillo. I'm not going to say his first name because I'm just going to say Alberto. Uh, so, but yeah, he put over Del Rio or whatever Carrillo uh, in a good way. He took the loss in a good fashion. They put on a good match, so I was happy with it.
Yeah, and the thing about Drew Gulak, when it comes to these, I guess you could call them closings to these short-term stories, because let's face it, I'm pretty sure this is the closing now to that story between Roberto Carrillo. I'm trying, Cindy. I can't roll R's like you. Versus Drew Gulak, because again, the one key moment in this match that stuck out to me, he left his feet off the ground to try and finish off Humberto Carrillo and state, this
Yeah,
is your lesson. In the end, that ended up buying him as Carrillo reversed it and says, this is the lesson. And you're right. He hit the sunset powerbomb and then his actual finisher, that Aztec press they call it, for the win. But
yeah, something like
before
that.
that,
Spin off the ropes.
yeah, before that, there was a lot of good moments here. We had, of course, a lot of mat wrestling because that's Drew Gulak specialty. And at first, it seemed like both men were trying to fight each other against each other's styles, fighting, jockeying for control. And then
Hmm.
at one point, you think Roberto Carrillo is going to go after Drew Gulak outside the ring. He doesn't. He goes all the way to the top, not top rope, top of the turnbuckle post, staring down. Drew's like, you get down from there. It's like, what? You get down from there. But beyond that, Drew goes after him. What happens? He gets kicked in the head. We get, some of the classics of Roberto Carrillo. You get the springboard handstand, arm drag. He goes for that like multiple times in this match. I believe the third time, he basically got caught by Drew Gulak after a
Hmm.
super kick, and after he super kicked Drew Gulak, and then Drew Gulak, he capitalizes and basically maintains control most of the match again, making a mat game match. Submission hold after submission hold, a little bit of joint manipulation. There was a side headlock. There was the surfboard chin lock combination that you referred to. And again, this was a nice back and forth match. Both men fought out of it, and then we get the spin around kick, missile drop kick from Roberto Carrillo, relying on high risk offense versus Drew Gulak, who is safe and sound, feet on the ground. And at one point, both men are just exhausted to the point that they're brawn on their knees. Then we get a nice Furley combination. And then you're right, we get the ankle lock after he catches him out midair. Then a roll through. He holds the ankle lock. Brilliant, brilliant wrestling. Again, he's known as probably the most dangerous man on 205 Live. Just the fact he can catch you out of nowhere with a submission hold and manipulate the body so well. I honestly want to see him face Zack Sabre Jr. one-on-one, but that's just me, and I'm going off topic. And yeah, lesson learned. Roberto Carrillo, he prevailed, but Drew Gulak didn't really seem like disappointed. He had like an odd facial expression at first, and
Hmm.
before that, I think at one point he was disoriented as he almost attacked the referee. He was like, no, 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 the guy's
Let's
over
not
there.
do that. Let's not do that.
I'm glad it did not end in the DQ. And
Hmm.
yeah, great match, and I'm looking forward to what's next for Drew Gulak, especially because again, he's the future. I feel of 205 Live going forward right now. So after that, we go basically talking about the main event. We get little promo vignettes from Oni Lorcan and Arya Davari. Oni saying he's been at this now for over a decade, and his one goal was to make it WWE and become a champion. And then he talks about how his opponent, Arya Davari, he's not about being flashy or technical. It's just business. And he goes out there to try and hit the hardest, and that's the type of fight he enjoys. Then we go to Davari in another area backstage. He says, ever since I focused on myself and dropped the dead weight that I had at one point, I was referring to Hideo Itami, I have been undefeated in 2019, which ironically he has. And he doesn't care who he has to go through. Nobody will keep him from being champion. So it looks like to me, they're making him the top heel in the brand. So what were your thoughts on both these men's promos?
I like Lorcan's. I like Lorcan as as a character, as a wrestler, as everything. I liked him and Danny Burch a lot. They got split. I don't know what's happening, but whatever. He's doing his thing in 205 Live, and he's doing good with it. I like it. Davari, no wonder seeing him heel. I mean, look at Sean.
Yeah,
Sean
there.
is, for those of you who don't know, Sean Davari is his older brother, who was the manager of Muhammad Hassan back in the era of that whole clusterfuck.
Oh man, that era.
Sorry for the F-bomb on your show. But yeah, Davari playing a heel. It's, Davari and heel, peanut butter jelly. It goes perfect together.
Yeah, and you could literally take him as a heel too, just from his look.
Exactly. I mean, I could see him in the case of this match. He is the heel. You know what I mean? If you look at depending on his opponent, yes, he is the heel in the match, but he is undefeated. His brother Sean had a lot of success title-wise other places, so why not maybe down the line him get a shot? You never know. He's been there a long time. He's been paying his dues. I'm happy with his character.
He's also one of the originals too. Again, it seems like they're finally going back to the well. Not so much maybe building a brand new star, but building a top star out of their original roster. Because a lot of these guys we're talking about now, they've been on since episode 1. The only one right now that's the exception is only Lorcan and Alberto Carrillo. And another person we'll now get into, because after this, we go straight into another backstage promo. This time with Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, and the general manager Drake Maverick, who is basically saying he's talking the same conversation over and over and over and over again with these two. Talking about, I don't know why you keep making me seem to have the same conversation with y'all. And it seems like it's the same thing. Maria, you cannot let Mike exceed on his own morals. And then before they get into a tiff, I'm sure that will be a verbal brawl. Who comes in and interrupts? The Brian Kendrick, who comes in and says, well, I'm just here to talk. And then next thing you know, they talk about Tozawa and basically saying, I'm not here to fight on Tozawa's behalf. He can fight on his own fights. And then Maria, he criticizes Tozawa. And then Mike's like, okay, so why are you here? What does the Brian Kendrick say? Says, oh, no. I mean, you know what? That was just a distraction. And then who comes out of nowhere? Akira Tozawa attacks, and then Maria is just screaming. Drake's like, unacceptable. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Then Mike with a cheap shot. That's unacceptable, okay? So
security.
I'm pretty sure it's safe to say we're going to get Akira Tozawa versus Mike Kanellis. No disqualification or 2 out of 3 falls. I'm pretty sure this is about to culminate as well. Because again, this is what 205 does. Keeps building a story, and it culminates into a huge blow-off match that contains elements of the previous matches, but in the end, a decisive winner. So I'm looking forward to what these two are going to do, and I think what's going to be their last encounter for a while. You?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Mike Kanellis is actually doing something in the WWE. Hey, it's about freaking time. I know he had his issues back in the day, but hey, it happens. Been there, done that. Brian Kendrick, I love Brian Kendrick. It's nice to see him still floating around, his old ass,
He's got a younger look now. Give him a break.
Yeah, a little bit. I couldn't have done without the sound effects from Akira Tozawa when he was jumping in, because it was just too funny. I'm sorry, I couldn't take that moment serious. It was just more of like to me, I'm like, I don't know, I just hear like, hi. I was like, all right, is this a Bruce Lee movie real quick? What's happening?
Well, he knocked
Drake,
down the support beams to seem like it was, kicked them down.
yeah, I know. And then we got Drake Maverick running around in his little leprechaun suits, like, unacceptable, unacceptable, yelling at security. And then as referees pull Akira Tozawa off, Mike
Keep
Kanellis punches him right in the mouth, and then here you go with Drake Maverick again. Unacceptable, unacceptable. Oh, I'm Drake Maverick. Unacceptable. Um, yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, yeah, I'm hopefully like a no holds barred situation, or even 2 out of 3 falls, like you said. I like stipulation matches. They help build stories, and I like storytelling. So, um,
Well, if Noam Dar versus Tony Nese, or the Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy, or even the six-man tags could have ties anything, which have usually been under like no DQ type stipulations, they are worth waiting for and
yeah,
great main events and closers to stories. So I honestly feel that's what's going to happen here. I can't wait to see how it ends.
yeah,
In that
me too.
sense, both the Brian Kendrick and Maria Kanellis will not be far behind in involvement.
No, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
It's pretty funny. All right, so we get into our main event. Because again, the usual format it seems nowadays for 205 Live, not even 3 matches. They just give you 2 classics while building stories in between. Because literally, this was it. We get Arya Daivari versus Oni Lorcan with Toy Nese coming out to ringside, simply scouting, not in commentary. He's just scouting. But as both men are coming out, Vic Joseph, he poses the question to both men of who do you see being the better person to face Tony Nese for the title, not necessarily carry the brand or win the title, but to face. And of course, and he struggles at first, so it doesn't necessarily seem like he's going to go with the face, but he does say Oni because he feels like he's shown the most here, and he's got a lot to prove to himself as he wants to be the face. And then Otunga, he comes in talking about Daivari and how Daivari is like, he's no nonsense. He's straight business. He can respect that. Then we get like past references to Otunga's history with the Nexus and Big Johnny. People power. Do not need to go back to that era again. And then they also
what are
post
you talking
the
about,
fact,
Noah?
yeah, I am
What are
not
you talk?
so
What are
nice.
you talking about?
What?
205 Live
Uh,
matters.
yeah, welcome to W Impressions. Anyway, they also posed the fact that Daivari, he's never had like a one-on-one championship match. And then Otunga also posed the question, can Tony Nese be the face of 205 Live? Because now Tony does own the division. He took what Buddy Murphy had for months. Can Tony carry the torch? I guess we'll see.
Hmm.
So both these men, it seemed like it was a slow match. It was paced. It was back and forth controls and moments. There were moments where it picked up and moments where it dropped. So before I go on to anything, what are your takeaways from this match?
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but when Tony Nese came out, you could see that nice little Velcro strap that they have on the
Yes,
cruiserweight
I
title
did.
now.
Is this part of
Um,
budget cuts? I'm like, what's going
I
on here?
I
I
know,
can't
like
buckle the
they're
belts together.
slowly transforming all the titles into Velcro straps, and in our, I don't know if you saw in armbar, ARMBAR explanation point. Um, I posted a picture. I posted a picture of Seth Rollins with a title from this past Monday with a circle drawn around on the belt, and you can see stuff stuck to the Velcro patches already. Like the Velcro, like it has like it's like you have Velcro shoes and you walk through leaves. You know what I mean? It's gonna stick.
Maybe they want the wrestlers to now actually wear the belts around their waist, and they figured, oh, okay, you have a hard time buttoning it, and you can't get someone to button it. Maybe Velcro is easier. But yeah, it seems like this is the new direction now
But
with the
but then
titles.
they keep the back ass end of the fasteners to look like it's fasteners.
Yeah, what's up with that? Sorry,
So
not to
is that
encourage
is
you, but
that
what's
how
up with that?
is that how replicas are gonna start coming now?
Well, if I get the NXT title next year, which I plan to,
And it better
uh,
be cheaper if it's Velcro
I
compared to,
completely agree.
they better drop the
Stop on.
price on those things.
Well, I mean, hey, I already buy them 25% off. I don't buy anything full price. I'm conservative. But
Me too.
on all that, yeah, it seems weird that
No,
they're going the direction with this. But your thoughts on the match?
yeah, I thought it was a good match. Ori Lorcan is a working machine. I mean, the dude already proved himself to me when he was in a tag team with Danny Burch in NXT and, doing NXT UK a little bit. But uh, I thought it was an overall good match. we started off with Lorcan being he won by bullying Davari into the corner, and then they went to the floor after an atomic drop. But Davari stopped him with stopped him
Then his
a
traps.
dive. Yep, Lorcan was going for a dive and stopped him right there. Lorcan won a cheap shot exchange before eating a fall reverse DDT, which was pretty cool. Then Davari locked on a Cobra clutch with a body scissors. Um,
The $1 million dream, he likes to call it.
yes, yeah, basically, yeah. I don't think he should call it the $1 million dream because he's not Ted
Well, he
DiBiase.
also wears the Versace jackets, going back to his rich luxury lifestyle, as you can see on his Titantron. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you look at it both
but
ways.
but didn't Sean use that move too?
I don't remember.
I'll have to like look it up and I'll comment. But I'm pretty sure Sean used that move too for a while. But no, dude, I thought it was a super good move. I mean, Davari hit his frog splash with a rainmaker for the win. Um,
Yeah,
you know, because Davari ended up locking in a grounded $1 million dream, but Lorcan fought out of it and then slapped his face before landing a running uppercut. And then he hit a chain of lariats and elbows in a corner, but then Davari recovered and got the 1, 2, 3. Nice clapped with approval and wanted to shake hands, but Davari wasn't down and they just had to stare down over the belt, basically.
there you go.
I thought it was a good match, man. Like I said, Davari, when he is on his own, he is best. Because he can show his true talent, not get cheap heel wins, not get, all that stuff. It is easy. You know what I mean? It's easier when you have a group of people to do distractions on the outside. Um, but he's a good worker. He does good in ring competition. He was the better man to win this match because he has been there for so long, proving his stripes. Orny Lokren, sorry, you just got here, buddy.
Right.
You
And
know, you'll get your
thank you for
spot.
being
Don't worry.
notorious, bro.
You'll get your shot. You'll probably get up to the main roster or have better plans in NXT before anything, before Davari does. So, just saying, I thought it was a good match. It was a good ending to the show.
Right.
Um, the fact that Tony Nese was at ringside made it a lot better because they put on a good show and he needs to see what is coming his way.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. Because again, he was scouting. He wasn't on commentary, and he didn't get involved in the match. This was just about who could be the better
Yep.
wrestler, who's more deserving of
Yep.
facing the cruiserweight champion for this title. That's why this
Absolutely.
matters more than some of the other titles in the main roster because it's not like, okay, you said it, you're given the opportunity. No, they earned it. It's funny to me. Why haven't they banned the word earned since it doesn't seem like it matters on the main roster? Oh, you're just going to give someone an opportunity. Hello, I'm Oprah Winfrey. You get an opportunity. You get an opportunity. And you get an opportunity. Fuck you, Vince. But I digress. Anyway, yeah, this was a very interesting match back and forth, and I enjoyed it. Again, it really started off on a high note with both men going for their finishers. Ari Daivari going for the hammerlock lariat. Nope. Only Lorcan going for his half and half. Nope. Then Daivari goes for the $1 million dream. Nope. And then we get a bit of a mat game, and then we get, nice back and forth, side headlock. There's cover after a couple of cross bodies, quick covers. Only Lorcan, once again, being they call him the Fury now, 205 Live, just constantly staying on Daivari, and then Daivari with a wicked chop. And then Oni capitalizes with 3 inverted atomic drops, the one that you said that sends out of the ring, where Daivari takes control after blasting him in the face as he goes for a suicide dive. Stays on the aggression, but it looks like one of the chops wakes up Oni, because again, he lives for these fights. He loves these fights. And also, going back to what he said previously about himself, he's a guy that
Mm.
adapts to anyone else's fight style. That's what keeps him going. I felt like he kind of did that here, but I also felt like he was more just himself because literally it was just chops, uppercuts, running blockbuster, running uppercuts. Daivari though trying to keep him grounded, working on his back, multiple $1 million dreams. The ref at one point does the arm thing. I forget now. Does it depend how the submission is held when they do the arm thing only once and then they call the bell versus 3 times?
I don't know. It changes because I always thought it was three, and then sometimes it's like I remember seeing like one time. I'm like, wait a minute, whoa. When did they change that? Yeah, because I
Right.
remember like they'd get to like 2 3/4, and it would just start shaking, and like
Yeah,
build back up. Like,
on the third one, and no, it was like one here, and it wasn't like they were constrained on time because 205 Live doesn't constrain the wrestlers from wrestling a full match, especially in an event. Both men did
mhm.
that here, and at one point, I think it was in the second $1 Million Dream, he did reach the ropes, but ref's discretion didn't necessarily have Daivari break it up, and then we got what I like to call the Samoa Joe spot, where Oni goes to the corner, rolls through, kicks the shoulders on the mat for Daivari, but Daivari actually kicks out. Why can't Joe do this? Anyway, yeah, and then following that, I'm just saying, Joe deserves better. Main roster plug. Yeah, but following this, only he gets out of it. He got some offense. We get running uppercut, running blockbuster. Then we get his signature where he just grabs you by the chin and just open face chops you or whatever. And then he eats a freaking super kick. Good lord, Daivari's got a mean super kick. Well done by Daivari. Uh, but and it looked like Oney Lorcan was like really heavy on breath too. So this match was definitely testing him from cardiovascular standpoint, endurance standpoint. But he got a nice near fall in his running blockbuster. He goes for the half and half like 2 other times this match, and on the third time it's countered into a super kick, and basically following that, that's another $1 Million Dream. It was basically like both men went for key finishers at least 3 times in this match, and it ended up
Mhm.
biting Oni in the end because the first Persian splash that they call it, Daivari, he hit hard mat, hard water, as Marvinello would say. And then he goes for the, what is it? Oh, no, sorry. There was like a counter only with running elbow strikes to the corner. And then the third time he eats a second super kick, set in place. Daivari capitalizes me with another splash, hits it, and then hammerlock lariat. Basically, 2 finish follow up later. Daivari wins. Needs applause and stands. Says hell of a match. You're right. He attempts handshake, but Daivari says, I want that. Again, not about flash, not about appeasing the crowd, not about gaining one's respect. All business. He wants the title, and he says, try and take it from me. A very nice main event overall once again. I feel like this really set Daivari up for bigger things. And I feel like this was a good way for Oni to establish himself in the brand, but not just being, jump straight to the front of the line just because I'm Oney Lorcan, I'm taking the Cedric Alexander spot. They don't have like a person made to constantly get the opportunity. They actually try something new. Gee, I wonder where else that should happen. Main roster. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And what's funny about this week's episode, we didn't get any necessary stuff for any matches next week. Nothing was like officially announced or anything, but we got a lot of proposals for next week. Like you said, Jack Gallagher versus Drew Gulak, Akira Tozawa versus Mike Bennett. And really, we don't know what's next for Humberto Carrillo or Oney Lorcan at this point. And is Oney going to remain a face, or is he going to go back to his whole Oney Rules thing and turn heel? Or was that idea just dropped? A simple, brief episode, but I enjoyed it. If I were to grade it on a scale of 5, and Otunga, he was okay, but without Nigel, commentary kind of fell a little short for me. This was 3.5 for me out of 5. What about you?
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.5. It was weird watching without Nigel. I mean, David Otunga, I I like him on pre-shows, but not on main roster anymore. Sorry. I mean, you know, I'm
Yeah,
over it.
I mean, David Otunga, he tried when I think it was Aiden that put up like his past history with like the Nexus and stuff like that, and then branching out for yourself versus be it under someone else's
Yeah,
thumb. So I mean, I think
I
Otunga
like that
tried,
reference.
but it was only like his first time. I don't think this is going to be like a permanent thing. I feel like now it's going to be back maybe a couple weeks. I don't think he's going to be back next week, but
No.
I feel like just overall the pace of the show, the current look of the roster, and the commentary to me kind of just fell a little lower to me. But still, nice episode, nice closing match. I look forward to seeing how they're going to build Daivari versus Nice now. I have to imagine it's going to be at Money in the Bank. In respect to my family, I will not yell, but that title match does not belong on the fucking kickoff show. And right now, Money in the Bank really doesn't matter to me, but I digress. So yeah, I'm interested to see where they go from here.
Hmm.
So with that, that was this week's episode 205 Live. Let's go right into what I like to call simple stances, which literally could be basically anything about the cruiserweight division in 205 Live. So, Colin, as the guest, I'll open the floor to you. Is there anything on your mind you would like to talk about regarding the cruiserweight division or 205 Live?
Expanding the division a
Okay,
little
that's
bit.
pretty much was thinking the same thing. What are your
Uh,
thoughts?
um, I mean, I would see 205 Live. I would like to have some people be able to cross over. You know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily be on the brand, but show up. You know how in NXT, how we have, like Tyler Breeze would show up and randomly, or, Harper, or, people that have been around, or etc. So, for example, like Pete Dunne, who was 205 pounds,
Yes.
could just pop up, could pop up. Let's just say we get a champion that wants to do an open challenge.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And like people can just pop up. Like, yeah, he's a member of 2K, of UK, but guess what? He's 205 pounds. In the division. It would
Okay.
just, it would just like be like any woman showing up on any show that could just
Hey,
fall. You know what I
the
mean?
next Lacey Evans waiting to happen.
So, or, a Noam Dar could show up on 205 Live, or Tyler Bate.
Oh boy, I like that.
You
Okay.
know, expand it out that way a little bit. You know what I mean? Use it as a way to honestly want to draw attention to it as well, because you'd never know who's going to show up. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like out of nowhere. Like, I mean, let's see, NXT wise, like who do you think's under 205 in NXT right now?
Well, I'm
Uh,
kind of glad you opened with this topic because this was my main focus for the night. 'Cause again, I feel like the shakeup still isn't over. You saw what happened on Raw and SmackDown. So I was
yes.
thinking about the entire roster. The current roster right now, according to WWE.com, they do list a couple of names that we haven't seen on there for a while. Mark Andrews and Noam Dar, as you referred to. Now, Noam Dar, I understand because he's injured. I hope he's personally okay. I'm glad to see Mark Andrews is back, but I don't think Mark Andrews is even 100%, which is probably
Yeah,
why they
but
booked him in tag matches versus single matches. Because as you know, they did the Worlds Collide specials with
yeah.
205 Live, NXT, and NXT UK, which basically gives you an idea right there of how 205 Live can collide with all three of these worlds, but who also could compete on 205 Live. With that being said, looking at the current breakdown of the roster, you got the champ, Tony Nese, and you got 11 other superstars when you consider the three members of Lucha House Party, Jack Gallagher, the Brian Kendrick, Akira Tozawa, Mike Kanellis, Drew Gulak, who, in my opinion, should be the next front runner for the title after this heel versus face match between Daivari and Nese, and Only Lorcan, and that's really it. Because they lost their two biggest names. Leo Rush, he was on there for a while, but it looks like he's the main talk guy now from Lashley. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing him because 205 Live is lacking heels right now. You don't have a balance. And
Yeah,
going back to what else you were saying, Tyler Breeze, I could definitely see him being on 205 Live. I feel like that's what
he's
one
got a
of the first things everybody thought about.
he's actually he Tyler Breeze has to lose a little bit of weight though. Like,
I think last I checked, well, yeah, the way I see it, I'm not looking at people that are obviously like 220, 235, etc. Like someone mentioned Shelton Benjamin, James Ebert. But I'm thinking like people that could potentially lose the weight are like maybe within, I don't know, 5 to 10 pounds. I mean, Tyler Breeze was one of them. Um, Honestly, with SmackDown Live and 205 Live coinciding literally with one another back to back, I could see the Singh brothers being part of the freaking cruiserweight division. And I wouldn't mind seeing what those two are capable of, either as singles competitors or one managing the other, because those guys have been in action since they were the Bollywood boys. They're just crash test dummies now to get squashed, despite the fact we got Jinder Mahal and SmackDown Live. Really. Um, and then I know people also talk about Rey Mysterio, but I'm pretty sure they're going to do a Rey versus Joe story because you got to imagine we didn't get the real send off from that because Rey was injured. We also haven't heard or seen anything about Dominic since. I think that's where Rey's going with that.
yeah.
Um, I wouldn't mind seeing like some of the NXT UK talent on there. not necessarily when they're in UK, like you said, like Pete Dunne, but some of the tag teams that you may not really think about. I'm thinking like maybe Kenny Williams, Amir Jordan might be potential candidates for the roster,
Flash
or
Morgan Webster.
yes, more we trust. A guy that has been on NXT UK in forever. I don't even know if he's signed or not. He was from the NXT UK Championship Tournament. Sam Gridwell, I was thinking of. I was also considering.
I haven't seen anything from him since the
Yeah, he
tournament.
hasn't been on much since the tournament. I don't even know if he's part of the brand. And again,
I
the
don't
whole
think so.
collision and inclusion we're talking about between NXT and NXT UK and 205 Live. Danny Burch, he's still in NXT technically, but he also is still apparently a team with Only Lorcan. Because, hey, folks, if you haven't seen NXT, spoiler alert, Danny Burch, Only Lorcan, still a team. Let's just say they came out together and wanted to whack someone with a chair. So, yeah, they're both still together as far as that goes. But that I'm also thinking about other names that we haven't seen for a while. Sin Cara could be another one that could go to 205 Live. Uh, Sami Zayn. I would honestly love to see Sami Zayn in 205 Live. I think that would be very interesting. You get the actual wrestler, Sami, versus the wacky anti-Mark character on the main roster that tells us to go to hell. So you get the best of both worlds there. And then there's one other name
Ricochet.
I was thinking of based on he did do a one-off. He is actually at the weight 205, and I honestly wonder where they're going to go with this entire gang when it comes time to, move them. I'm thinking Roderick Strong.
Yeah, Roddy. Because I mean, do you see Undisputed Era coming up as a faction?
Ah, jeez.
And
Well,
but here's the thing: we are in the time of we are low on factions.
also Vince
There,
hates factions. Keep that in mind.
yeah, but Vince is getting older.
True. I ain't dying. And I don't think he'll
So
quit anytime soon, as much as we want him to. Unless your name's Virtue.
I don't
Oh,
know,
this guy's
dude.
stuck. And go follow Virtue. He's a funny character.
Yes.
But yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. But as far as that, I mean, Roderick Strong had a nice one up with Sid Alexander. He's literally 205. I could see him literally taking the title from Tony Nese if Tony Nese becomes champ for that long and they actually set up a match like that. And Roderick
That would
Strong is
be
a
cool.
major name. Plus, if they do decide to send up the other horsewomen at some point, you want to keep the married couple together, put his wife on SmackDown.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Or like, how the Undisputed Era is on their quest for gold. Maybe Adam Cole gets the NA championship, and then Red Dragon can get the tag team titles back. Maybe they're the ones who take them back from the War Raiders. I'm not. I'm not saying it.
The main roster does not affect us here.
So, okay. In that fucking case, War Machine. Um,
Shout
they're
out to the original name.
they're not going to. I see Undisputed Era taking the titles from War Raiders, and then instead of Adam Cole taking the NXT title from Gargano, he takes the North American Championship from Velveteen Dream.
Right. And the
And then
reason I
Ro-
didn't
and
say
then
Johnny Gargano or Ricochet, I'm sorry. I think they're too good to be constrained by 205 Live because that's my only problem with 205 Live. They act like it's a freaking barrier, and the only time it really
mhm.
matters is when you literally pull up a person
Yeah,
during a
it's an
show.
atmosphere.
That's wrong to
It's
me.
an atmosphere. You can't break through it. Yeah.
Well, you should be able to, and that's the problem. It's only like during Worlds Collide or special one-offs with NXT and
Yep.
NXT UK. They're able to breach. Humberto Carrillo was on freaking NXT this week. Great
Yep.
opener, too.
Absolutely.
Because those three brands are a super show waiting to happen. But I know that's not going to happen based on, regions and contracts and timing and all this stuff. Plus, they actually are allowed to wrestle at some other promotions that are under the WWE, I guess you could say, agreements. That's why you get matches from Evolve. That's why you get
The
matches from ICW and such stuff like that.
Progress, and I think um, Attack Pro Wrestling I think, too.
There's some other UK promo. Yeah. And yeah, Tyler Bate, I think will be a very great one, but I don't see that happening unless they truly split Mustache Mountain. But that team is just so good, and everybody loves them. Big, strong boys. I don't ever see them. There you go. I don't ever see them splitting up that team. I honestly don't.
Um, I do because he either, because we all know Pete's not sticking around forever. We know Pete has bigger and better things than NXT UK on his plate. And within, I want to say, the next 6 months, he'll be either SmackDown or Raw. That, or he's going to be the one to dethrone Gargano.
And then he carried the
So,
NXT title for 700 days.
yeah. And
Oh, boy.
but Tyler Bate, the big strong boy, is going to get tired of carrying the Artful Dodger shit around because every time, think of every loss they've had recently. Whose fault is it?
Trent.
Mr. Mustache Mountain,
He
Silver
usually
Fox,
eats the fall, too.
Silver Fox himself, Trent Seven,
Hmm.
the
Well, it
Artful
is a
Dodger.
teacher and student
Yeah,
relationship, so I could definitely
yeah.
see them doing a storyline like that. But I honestly can't see Tyler Bate breaking this. I honestly can see Trent Seven breaking this. I at one point thought
Well,
Trent Seven was literally going to turn heel on Tyler Bate.
when back in Progress, um, Tyler Bate was heel when British Strong Style first came back. When British Strong Style first came about, British Strong Style was Trent Seven and Pete Dunne, and
Oh,
then they added Tyler Bate into a deal because um, Pete Dunne and Trent Seven won the Progress Tag Team Championships while Pete Dunne was their heavyweight champion, and he wanted to just give the title to Tyler Bate, and then in the process of that, they were stripped of the tag titles and they went vacant. So there was a match. I can't remember who it was against, but I
I
think it
gotta go back.
was like
Got the point.
I think it was CCK. I want to say
Okay, I know what you're talking
again
about.
against what would be known now as Mustache Mountain,
Right.
and British Strong Style won, and then I had all the gold. But yeah, they were originally a heel faction in Progress. So Pete Dunne, or I mean Tyler Bate playing a heel wouldn't be anything not new to him. You know what I mean? He's done it before. You can
Right.
find all that.
I'm just thinking under the NXT UK banner. That's what
I,
I was
I
thinking.
yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool. I mean, but it depends on where we're at. Talent wise, star wise, can we pull a babyface heel move here? Who can we swap? Who can we have go from heel to babyface now,
Right.
etc. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's all about putting aces in places and being in the right time. But it could happen, and honestly, I think it'd be cool. But
Okay.
uh, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of which, there's another thing they're missing, a mid card title, but they seem to have a lot of people that could fulfill that role because I think they have a pretty strong mid card right now. They just need to build up more stars. Speaking of which, segue. What are your thoughts on the cruiserweight division? Do you feel like they need to build a mid card range and a mid card type title? And what would you call it?
yeah. See, that's the thing. We have a cruiserweight championship, so the next thing we had in WWE or WWF history was the light heavyweight championship.
Correct.
Um, but you can't have a light heavyweight and a cruiserweight on on the same show. And what else can you call a mid card title for a cruiserweight? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what I
middleweight.
mean? Like, and you can't call it a TV title because it's not technically on TV.
Right. Plus copyright name. Ring of Honor owns that.
So, um, you can't call it an X something because of Impact. You can't,
Right.
you can't really call it a welterweight or anything like that because that's more like a UFC. Um, I really don't know. I mean, but I feel that the roster would have to grow by at least 8 to 10 members to even consider a mid card. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that or a cruiserweight tag team title.
I feel like tag team is definitely a much more viable thing to build towards, but you need more people because when you consider the state of 205 Live right now, you honestly don't have more than one team.
Yeah, you don't, and that's Lucha House Party, really.
Yeah, so
But I don't. But what I don't really know what you could call a mid card title on 205 Live. Like,
yeah, I thought that was a curious question. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I feel like
you
right
know,
now, based on the fact you literally have just the cruiserweight champ, and this isn't like New Japan Pro Wrestling, for example, they have like multiple weight
yeah,
class
like
type champions.
yeah,
It
or
just
like the
can't work.
junior. Like if you have the IWGP heavyweight champion, then you have the junior IWGP heavyweight champion.
And the
Like,
never open weight champion, which
yeah,
literally is bound by no weights. Now, if they did something like that, that went across all three brands, then I think you would have something because you could have matches with, I don't know, Keith Lee versus blah, 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 Only Lorcan. It honestly would be a time that would allow you Clash of the Worlds, and it wouldn't be defined by weight. It would be something unique that would expose the cruiserweights more, but also it kind of gives you more of a dynamic and builds a story and possibly more stars between NXT UK, which doesn't have a mid card title, and NXT. But maybe more so just between NXT UK and 205 Live, since NXT has their mid card title, the North American Championship. So that's kind of my thinking on that. If they did something like that, especially after this whole Clash of the Worlds concept they showed us on the network, I think that would be a very viable idea. And it would also bring more potential wrestlers to the 205 Live roster.
hmm
So that's just my thoughts on that. So, yeah. What are your thoughts? One last thing. What are your thoughts on a cruiserweight Money in the Bank ladder match? How many participants would you have, and who would you want to win it?
well, let's see. I'd probably go with seven guys in it.
Okay.
Do I have to pick them?
Yeah, if you name a
Um,
few off the top of your head, you don't necessarily need all seven.
all right.
Not
So,
on the
so if
spot
we had
there,
a, if we,
but
if we
205
had a,
Live matters.
if we had a, if we had to go right now, um, you know, this Money in the Bank, uh, Gulak, Davari, Lorcan, the Brian Kendrick, Mike Kanellis, um, Akira Tozawa, and I guess you can put Del Rio in there. Uh,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then that's how I would have. I'd pull a shocker and have Mike Bennett win it,
Hmm.
and then cash in on Drew Gulak down the line after he
Wow.
picks up the title.
That'd probably be the match because I keep thinking about
Swerve.
the match. I could see that being the perfect opportunity for an opportunist to become cruiserweight champion by
Yep.
means that you don't think about, but still means that makes sense. Because one thing the Money in the Big Ladder match has been lacking lately is a credible winner and a credible cash in. Last 2 years, I think they flopped on both brands and both rosters in general. But if you did like
Yes.
some brief cruiserweight Money in the Bank ladder match, and you basically have, I don't know if I would do seven because I would probably be overkill considering what the cruiserweights are capable of because they can go a lot longer than the main roster could. Maybe
Well,
you do
I'm
like,
just try to give him space to shine. You know what I mean? That's why I was
I
curious with
agree.
that.
But I mean, it's the first one. I would probably start a little smaller. I think I would actually go with five, and I wouldn't necessarily just stick to 205 Live active roster. I probably would stick to maybe like a surprise entrant or maybe like an inclusion from someone in NXT UK. One name I was thinking about was a name I saw in Worlds Collide that very impressed me, ACH. He had a very nice triple threat match with Ligero and Grand Metalik. I could see him definitely being a main participant in the 205 Live roster. And with his cocky persona and attitude that he portrays, I think he would be a viable contender to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. I could also see Leo Rush inserting himself in this too. Or one more name I thought of that I haven't even talked about all tonight. Zema Ion, the former DJ Z from Impact Wrestling, currently signed under NXT. Be the perfect way to bring him under 205 Live because we don't know what he's doing right now. We don't know anything about the guy.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
So that's just my thoughts on how you could expand, expose, and potentially grow the 205 Live roster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I feel this has been a very fun conversation as always. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching 205 Live Matters, and thank you, sir, for joining me for the first time ever on 205 Live. Hope to have you on again. Is there anything you want to plug, and where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Colin26Andrew. You can follow me on YouTube at Colin Andrew, COLIN space Andrew, ANDREW. You can find content that I and some friends do on their channel, Stefan and Jerry's channel, Aftermatch Wrestling, AFTERMATCH space wrestling. They cover the NXT, what's NXT, and the NXT party every week, Wednesdays and Thursdays. You can find Stefan at NoDQ /Stefan. You can find Jerry on Twitter at NoDQGeneral, and you can find all four of us in the Facebook group Armbar. That's all capital ARMBAR, exclamation point. So a lot of discussion and stuff in there. A lot of good times. It's growing fast. So like us all on those formats. Support NoDQ and NoDQ.com. Actually, they just released the review for number 55. I got the email while we were doing this video. So go check that out. Follow Aaron Rift on Twitter. Keep supporting the simple man right here, Noah Foster. He does good work representing Ohio in 205 Live. So,
That's right.
You can catch us this week. We will be doing the NXT party with Stefan and Jerry tomorrow night. So that'll be up Friday morning for your viewing pleasure. Just keep watching. 205 Live Matters. The show is getting better. The brand is getting better. Give it a shot. Please like and share and subscribe and comment and argue with us if you need to. Just don't be a dick.
Brilliant closer. Thank you. And again, you pretty much nailed everything here. But folks, you don't need to know me. I'm no one special. I'm not a big shot. Heck, I'm probably no one you ever heard of. But I will say this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. So if you want to follow me and talk anything wrestling, WWE, AEW, anything else in between, you can look me up on Twitter, NoDQ.com /Noah. It takes to my Twitter page, or find my simple YouTube channel here at YouTube.com /users /Noah Foster 210. You'll find monthly wrestling unboxings. I got to do one for my latest. I might do predictions for Card Cup Rebellion. Depends, though. I have finals, so we'll see. Things have been rather hectic lately. Otherwise, just like he says, keep supporting NoDQ. Go buy a shirt. NoDQ.com /shirts. Check out our playlist in Spotify. We're 5,000 songs. Everything from Carney Finkbinder to the Beatles to T-Pain to, I think, even Missy Elliott. Heck, there might be Zelda music on there for I don't know. I'm still shuffling through it. Just keep following NoDQ.com for all the latest news, memes, columns, reviews, predictions, sexy female pictures, and everything else in between. And as always, you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, comment, dislike, argue with me. Bring it. I don't care. Just support the series. Support 205 Live Matters. And as always, as I like to close, because I am tired, And don't forget, I am the also noted Q Wrestling Predictions Champion. Support your wrestling outlets, both big and small. And let's keep growing this wrestling community together. As simple as that. With that, thank you, Colin, so much for joining me. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, as always, for tuning in to another weekly installment of Two of Five Life Matters. Rain or shine, or how happy as I am, I will strive to continue to do this on a weekly basis. Whether you agree with it or not. You don't like it, I got 2 words for you. Too bad. And with that, until next week, I hope you all enjoyed tonight and have a good night.